And although you kind of know that this might happen, you don't really think about it very much.
The British royal family is no stranger to secrets, but this one changes everything, because for decades, Princess Anne and Prince William have shared a bond that most people never noticed. Quiet, respectful, almost invisible. But now that quiet bond has become the most dangerous alliance in the palace, and its target is Camilla, the Queen Consort. And what makes this story so extraordinary is not just the alliance itself, but the decades of pain, betrayal, and buried resentment that finally pushed these two powerful royals to act. Let's rewind. Anne is the Princess Royal, the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, famously tough, no-nonsense, and fiercely loyal to the crown. She has always been protective of her nephews, William and Harry, but her loyalty to William has deepened over the years, especially after the death of Princess Diana. And never forgot what Camilla did. She watched as her brother, Prince Charles, destroyed his marriage to Diana, saw the pain, the heartbreak, the public humiliation, and she blamed Camilla for most of it. For Anne, Camilla was not just a mistress but a homewrecker who tore the family apart. She reportedly told close friends she would never accept Camilla as a true member of the royal family, always keeping her at arm's length, always treating her as exactly what and believed she was, an outsider who had no business wearing a crown. William, on the other hand, was just a boy when his parents' marriage fell apart. He grew up watching his mother cry, seeing her struggle, and deep down, he always believed Camilla was the reason for his mother's unhappiness. For years he stayed quiet, polite, professional, dutiful, because that is what the monarchy demanded of him. But he never truly forgave her. And now, he doesn't have to pretend anymore. What changed everything is the king's health. With King Charles battling cancer, the future of the monarchy feels uncertain, and William knows he will be king one day, possibly sooner than anyone expected or wanted. So he wants to shape the royal family his way, which means reducing Camilla's influence, limiting her power, and ensuring that when his time comes, she will not be the force behind the throne. He has reportedly been working behind the scenes to do exactly that, with one powerful ally at his side, his aunt, Princess Anne. Together, they have been coordinating a quiet but deliberate campaign to isolate Camilla. Sources inside the palace say they have been excluding her from key family meetings, reducing her public appearances, and quietly but consistently questioning her role as queen consort. It's subtle, carefully so, but it is absolutely deliberate. According to a senior palace aide, Anne and William have become the two most dangerous people in Camilla's life. And this isn't just politics, it's deeply, painfully personal. They are not just protecting the monarchy. They are avenging Diana. Every cold shoulder, every closed door, every whispered criticism is part of a larger plan that began with a secret conversation between aunt and nephew about loyalty, about family, and about justice that has been a long time coming. Camilla may have won the king, but she lost the family, and William and Anne are making absolutely sure she never forgets it. To understand why Princess Anne despises Camilla so deeply, we have to go back, way back. Not to the 1980s, not to the wedding of Charles and Diana, but to the swinging 70s, when the royal family was young and full of scandalous secrets that would eventually tear them apart for generations. Before Camilla ever became queen consort, before she was even a household name, she was involved with a dashing cavalry officer named Andrew Parker Bowles. Andrew was everything a young socialite could want: charming, well-connected, and irresistibly handsome. He and Camilla were the power couple of London's elite social scene, attending glamorous parties, polo matches, and exclusive gatherings where the rich and famous mingled freely with royalty. But here's the twist that changes everything. While Camilla was dating Andrew, he was also secretly involved with Princess Anne. Andrew Parker Bowles was playing both women simultaneously, and neither of them knew the full truth at first. It was a tangled, toxic mess of betrayal, a love rectangle that would create a grudge lasting more than 50 years. When Andrew eventually left Camilla for Anne, Camilla was devastated, humiliated, furious, and heartbroken. She had watched the man she loved walk away to be with a princess. But Camilla was not the type to accept defeat quietly. She was a survivor, and she had a plan for revenge that would shake the monarchy to its very core. She started an affair with Anne's own brother, Prince Charles, the heir to the throne himself. The message was unmistakable and utterly ruthless: if you take my man, I will take your brother, and I will destroy your family from the inside out. The move was calculated, cold, and utterly devastating to Princess Anne, who felt betrayed not only by the woman who had once been part of a social circle, but by her own brother who allowed it to happen. Biographers have noted for years that and was absolutely devastated when Andrew first chose Camilla, and then when Charles chose Camilla too, and the bitterness lingered for decades, festering like an open wound that never fully healed. This wasn't just pride or jealousy. It was about family loyalty, broken trust, and a betrayal that ran so much deeper than anyone outside the palace walls ever truly realized. And never forgot that pain. She never forgave Charles for allowing Camilla back into his life, and she certainly never forgave Camilla for positioning herself so strategically within the royal family. That old wound, that deep, festering, decades-long betrayal, is the real reason and has never truly accepted Camilla as family and princess, and is simply not the kind of woman who pretends otherwise. When Camilla finally married Prince Charles in 2005, she must have felt like she had won the ultimate prize. After decades of waiting, of being the other woman, of enduring relentless public humiliation and private heartbreak, she was finally walking down the aisle at Windsor Castle. This was her moment, her hard-fought, long-awaited victory. But Princess and made sure Camilla would never forget her place, and she did it in a way so deliberate and so calculated that it still stings deeply to this day. Before the wedding even happened, Queen Elizabeth II signed a secret document, a legal order stating that Princess Anne would never have to curtsy to Camilla. Let that sink in for a moment. In the royal world, a curtsy is everything. It is respect, rank, and acceptance all wrapped into one gesture. When you curtsy to someone, you are acknowledging that they outrank you, that they are above you in the royal hierarchy. But Queen Elizabeth made it crystal clear, and would never bow to Camilla, no matter what title she carried or what crown sat on her head. It was a stunning and very public humiliation, a declaration that Camilla would never be fully accepted at the highest level of this family. Why did the Queen do this? Some say it was because Anne was a princess of the blood royal, born into the family, while Camilla was merely marrying into it. Others believe the Queen was quietly protecting Anne's pride, knowing how deeply Anne resented Camilla. But the truth is far more personal than protocol. Anne reportedly made it explicitly clear to everyone around her that she had no intention of bowing to the woman she blamed for her brother's broken marriage and for every tear Diana ever shed. She said it openly, without apology, because Anne doesn't smile for the cameras when she's angry. She doesn't manufacture warmth when she feels nothing but contempt. For Camilla, who had spent years fighting for legitimacy, who had been called a homewrecker in headlines around the world, who had waited decades just to be publicly acknowledged, this was a devastating blow. She thought marriage would finally give her the respect she had been denied for so long. Instead, she was reminded in the starkest possible terms that she would always be viewed as an outsider. Even as Queen Consort today, even with a crown on her head and a palace at her disposal, Camilla still faces the ice-cold treatment from Anne, who views her as an interloper who simply does not belong. That document was more than paperwork. It was Anne's mother telling the world, "My daughter outranks your new wife." And in the royal family, rank is not just everything. It is the only thing. Now we arrive at the most explosive chapter of this royal drama, because the latest clash between Anne and Camilla isn't rooted in the distant past. It is happening right now, and it centers on Prince Andrew. This conflict has become a full-blown royal war that is tearing the family apart from the inside more viciously than anything we have seen in years. For a long time, the tension between Anne and Camilla simmered beneath the surface, hidden behind carefully staged public appearances and diplomatic silences. But now it has erupted into open conflict, and the battleground is the disgraced Duke of York, a man who has brought nothing but shame and scandal to the institution both women claim to care about. Reports from inside the palace reveal that Anne is absolutely furious with the aggressive stance that Camilla and William have taken against Andrew, and believes the treatment of her brother has gone far beyond what is necessary or just, arguing that their late mother would have wanted far more discretion, more compassion, and above all more family loyalty in handling this painful situation. She has told close confidants that Queen Elizabeth never would have allowed Andrew to be thrown to the wolves the way Camilla and William are doing, and she sees their approach as not just cold and calculated, but as a betrayal of everything the Queen stood for. But Camilla, she is reportedly completely unyielding. The monarchy's reputation must come first, full stop. Andrew is a liability, a scandal-ridden disaster, and the palace needs to distance itself from him as quickly and completely as possible. There is no room for sentiment when the institution itself is at stake, or so Camilla argues, and has always been fiercely protective of her siblings, and Andrew is absolutely no exception. Despite everything, the lawsuits, the tabloid feeding frenzies, the catastrophic Newsnight interview that the royal family is still recovering from, and still sees him as her brother. A man who deserves loyalty, not abandonment. She has been fighting behind the scenes for months to slow down the palace's efforts to cut him off completely, pushing back hard against what she privately calls Camilla's ruthless campaign to purge him from royal life. Insiders say, and has been extraordinarily vocal in her complaints, even going so far as to accuse Camilla of using Andrew's scandals as a convenient excuse to consolidate her own power and push out anyone she views as a threat or an inconvenience. And the most painful part, King Charles is trapped right in the middle, torn between his sister and his wife, unable to comfort either side without devastating the other, and has made it abundantly clear she will fight for Andrew, even if it means a direct, open confrontation with Camilla. And with William firmly backing Camilla's hardline approach, and is feeling increasingly cornered. But anyone who knows Princess and knows she does not back down. She is a fighter, a survivor, a woman who has spent her entire life defending her family against those she considers outsiders. And in her eyes, Camilla remains exactly that. For years, Prince William stayed silent about Camilla. He attended family events, smiled for photographers, and played the role of the composed, dutiful future king. But behind closed doors, something was slowly, quietly building, a resolve that would eventually reshape the royal family's power structure entirely. William grew up watching his mother's pain up close. He saw the way Camilla hovered in the background of his parents' failing marriage. He watched his mother's smile disappear, watched her confidence shatter, and watched her fight alone against forces she could not control. Deep down, in a place he kept carefully guarded, William always held Camilla responsible. But he was a prince, and princes do not show that kind of wound in public. Now, everything has changed. William is no longer the grieving boy from Diana's funeral, standing in the cold with his head bowed and the weight of the world on his small shoulders. He is a man, a husband, a father of 3, and the future King of England. And he is finally, quietly, decisively fighting back. Insiders suggest William has aligned himself firmly with Princess and to take a harder line against Camilla, particularly following his father's cancer diagnosis. With Charles battling serious illness, William has stepped into an expanded role, preparing for a future that may arrive sooner than any of them hoped. And with that increased responsibility comes real power, the power to shape what the monarchy looks like, who sits at its center, and whose influence defines its future. The alliance between William and Anne is widely seen by palace insiders as a landmark power shift, a clear signal that the next chapter of the monarchy will not be written by Camilla. Together, they are pushing her out of the inner circle, reducing her visibility, and sending a message she cannot ignore. She is not a blood royal, and she never will be one of them. William has finally found his voice, and he is using it to protect his family, honor his mother's memory, and ensure that when his reign begins, it begins on his terms, not hers. There is one question that hangs over Buckingham Palace like a storm that never quite breaks, a question nobody dares ask out loud, but everyone is thinking. Especially Camilla. What happens to the Queen Consort when King Charles is gone? It is the nightmare that keeps her awake. Her entire identity, her power, her position, her place in history, rests entirely on one man. Without Charles, she loses not just a husband but her only true protector in a family that has never genuinely welcomed her. William will not shield her, and most certainly will not. And with Charles gone, there will be no one standing between Camilla and the cold, unforgiving judgment of the people who have resented her presence for decades. Insiders predict she will be left completely isolated, a solitary figure watching from the edges as William and Anne take full and unchallenged control of the monarchy's direction. Some reports even suggest she may eventually have no choice but to quietly withdraw from royal life altogether, retreating to live privately with her own children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopez. It would be a humiliating fall from the greatest height, a devastating reversal of everything she sacrificed and endured to get where she is. Imagine spending decades fighting for legitimacy, enduring public hatred, waiting endlessly for a crown, only to be cast aside the moment your protector is gone. That is Camilla's deepest, most private fear. And it is a fear that Anne and William have no interest in relieving. The royal family has extraordinarily long memories, and they do not forgive betrayal, not truly, not completely, not ever. For William and Anne, everything Camilla represents, the affair, the broken marriage, Diana's suffering, the years of manipulation, is a debt that has never been settled and never will be. Camilla may have won the king, but she lost the family. She may wear the crown, but she does not have their love, their loyalty, or their forgiveness. And as the monarchy moves into a new era, she may find herself exactly where Anne always believed she belonged, on the outside, looking in. Diana's memory has never been more powerful than it is right now, and her legacy is being protected by the two people who loved her most fiercely, her son and her sister-in-law, who are ensuring, quietly and deliberately, that Camilla never fully enjoys the victory she believed she had won. The question is no longer where the consequences are coming. The question is simply when, and how devastating they will truly be. The answer, it seems, is coming sooner than anyone expects.